Have you ever wondered what it's like to completely uproot your life and start over in a foreign country? To leave behind everything familiar and dive headfirst into the unknown? This is the story of Emily Thompson, a young woman who did just that and how it changed her life forever. Emily grew up in a modest home in Manchester, England. From a young age, she found solace in books, often retreating to her room to lose herself in the worlds of Jane Austen and Charles Dickens. Her parents, while loving, didn't quite understand her passion for literature. Her father, a practical man who worked as a mechanic, often questioned the practicality of studying English. "What kind of job will you get with that degree?" he'd ask. Her mother, a nurse, was more supportive but still worried about Emily's future. Despite these concerns, Emily persevered. She was driven by a deep-seated desire to understand the human condition through the lens of literature. Books weren't just stories to her. They were windows into different lives, different worlds. This passion led her to the University of Manchester, where she excelled in her studies. But as she entered her third year, Emily felt restless. She longed for something more, something different. When she heard about the study abroad program in Heidelberg, Germany, it felt like fate calling. But could she really leave everything behind? What challenges would she face? With a mix of excitement and trepidation, Emily applied and was accepted into the program. As she boarded the plane to Germany, clutching her worn copy of Pride and Prejudice, she couldn't help but wonder. Was she making the biggest mistake of her life? The first few weeks in Heidelberg were a whirlwind of new experiences. The city, with its cobblestone streets and ancient castle, seemed like something out of a fairy tale. But fairy tales rarely mention the challenges of navigating a foreign bureaucracy or the frustration of not being able to communicate effectively. Emily's first real test came during her romantic poetry seminar. As the professor, Dr. Schmidt, discussed Wordsworth's "I wandered lonely as a cloud," Emily found herself paralyzed with fear. The other students, mostly Germans with impeccable English, participated enthusiastically. Emily, despite being a native English speaker, remained silent. What if she said something foolish? What if her analysis wasn't up to par? After class, Dr. Schmidt approached her. "Emily," he said, his kind eyes peering over his glasses, "I noticed you didn't participate today. Is everything all right?" Emily's cheeks burned with embarrassment. I was afraid of saying the wrong thing," she admitted. Dr. Schmidt smiled. "There are no wrong answers in literary analysis, only different perspectives. Your voice is valuable here. Don't be afraid to use it." His words struck a chord with Emily. She realized that her fear of failure was holding her back from truly experiencing this opportunity. She made a promise to herself. From now on, she would push herself out of her comfort zone. Have you ever faced a similar situation? A moment when fear held you back from speaking up or trying something new? How did you overcome it? As the weeks passed, Emily slowly began to find her footing. She made friends with Lisa, a kind-hearted German student who took her under her wing, and Max, a fellow literature enthusiast with a passion for Shakespeare. Together they formed a tight-knit group, supporting each other through the ups and downs of student life. But just as Emily was starting to feel settled, a new challenge arose. The university announced a competition. Students would present their analysis of a modern novel, and the winner would have their work published in a prestigious literary journal. The prize was tempting, but the thought of presenting in front of a large audience terrified Emily. Should she enter the competition and face her fears, or play it safe and miss out on a potentially life-changing opportunity? After much deliberation and encouragement from her friends, Emily decided to take the plunge. She chose to analyze Virginia Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway, a novel that had always fascinated her with its stream of consciousness narrative and exploration of post-war society. As the competition drew closer, Emily threw herself into her preparation. She spent long hours in the library, poring over critical analyses and historical contexts. Her friends noticed her absence at their usual cafe meetups. "Emily, you need to take a break," Lisa urged one day, finding her buried behind a stack of books. "You're going to burn out." But Emily was determined. This wasn't just about winning a competition. It was about proving to herself that she belonged here, that she had something valuable to contribute. The night before the presentation, Emily could barely sleep. As she tossed and turned, doubts crept in. What if she froze up on stage? What if her analysis wasn't good enough? What if... The next morning, with dark circles under her eyes and a churning stomach, Emily made her way to the auditorium. As she waited for her turn, she watched other students present their analyses with confidence and poise. Her nerves threatened to overwhelm her. Finally, her name was called. On shaky legs, Emily walked to the podium. She looked out at the sea of faces, took a deep breath, and began to speak. What happened next? Did Emily overcome her fears and deliver a compelling presentation? Or did her nerves get the better of her? To Emily's surprise, once she started speaking, her nerves melted away. The words flowed easily as she delved into Woolf's narrative techniques and the novel's themes of time, memory, and social change. She drew parallels between the post-war society of Mrs. Dalloway and her own experience as a foreigner in a new country, offering a unique perspective that captivated the audience. When she finished, the applause was thunderous. Dr. Schmidt's eyes shone with pride, and Emily's friends cheered loudly from their seats. In that moment, Emily realized that she had not only conquered her fear but had also found her voice. The weeks that followed were a blur of excitement. Emily won the competition and her analysis was published in the journal. But more importantly, she had gained a new sense of confidence that permeated every aspect of her life. She participated more in class discussions, explored the city with newfound courage, and even started a blog about her experiences as an international student. As her time in Heidelberg drew to a close, Emily reflected on how much she had changed. The shy girl who had arrived in Germany months ago was gone, replaced by a confident young woman ready to take on the world. On her last night in Heidelberg, Emily's friends threw her a farewell party at their favorite cafe. As they reminisced about their adventures and made promises to stay in touch, Emily felt a bittersweet mix of sadness and excitement for the future. Looking out at the twinkling lights of the city she had come to love, Emily realized that the true value of her experience wasn't just in the academic knowledge she had gained, but in the personal growth she had undergone. She had learned to embrace challenges, to step out of her comfort zone, and to see the world from new perspectives. As she prepared to return to Manchester to complete her degree, Emily knew that she was bringing back much more than souvenirs and memories. She was returning with a newfound confidence, a global perspective, and the knowledge that she could overcome any obstacle life threw her way. The moral of Emily's story is that growth often happens outside our comfort zones. By facing her fears and embracing new experiences, Emily not only enhanced her academic knowledge, but also discovered strengths she didn't know she possessed. Now, I'd like to ask you, have you ever had an experience that pushed you out of your comfort zone? How did it change you? Which character in Emily's story did you relate to the most and why? Remember, every day presents us with opportunities to grow and challenge ourselves. It doesn't have to be as dramatic as moving to a foreign country. It could be as simple as speaking up in a meeting, trying a new hobby, or reaching out to someone different from you. If you enjoyed Emily's story and found it inspiring, please like this video and share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more stories that explore the human experience through the lens of literature and personal growth. Your engagement helps us create more content that resonates with you and our community. Thank you for joining us on this journey with Emily. Until next time, keep reading, keep growing, and never stop exploring.